It's easy to think about education, right? We all sort of inherently know it's important. But what was really eye-opening in the analysis we're diving into today is just how deeply it connects to, well, global prosperity. It's not just a nice thing to have. Our sources are pretty clear. It's like a primary economic engine.
Yeah.
So today we're looking at some pretty comprehensive research, specifically about this, deep link between education and economic success, and also this big global shift.
Yeah, the shift away from that old industrial era way of just transmitting knowledge
Right.
towards what people are calling, 21st century learning ecosystems. Well, exactly. And I think our mission today isn't just to repeat education is important. We already know that. It's more about unpacking how learning itself has had to change, dramatically, to meet what the economy needs now. We'll dig into the actual economic returns, for people and for whole countries, and maybe pinpoint some critical policy changes needed to, future-proof our human capital.
Human capital, right, the skills and knowledge people have.
Exactly. Our most valuable asset, really.
Okay, so let's unpack that shift you mentioned from the industrial era to these 21st century learning ecosystems.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference there? Like, how has what we learn and how we learn it changed?
That's a great question. If you look back, the industrial era, it was largely focused on pretty standardized knowledge. Think, memorizing facts, following instructions, training for specific jobs, often repetitive ones in factories or offices.
Yeah.
It was basically about creating a workforce that could fit neatly into this predictable mass production kind of model. But our sources, they make it really clear that today's economy needs something, fundamentally different.
So less about just repeating stuff and more about what does it look like now?
Precisely. This 21st century learning idea, it's all about cultivating people who are adaptive, innovative, human capital that can think on its feet. So skills like critical thinking, complex problem solving, creativity is huge, collaboration, and digital literacy is absolutely key now. It's a shift from just what you know to how you learn, how you adapt, and how you can apply knowledge to new, often unexpected situations.
Because things change so fast now.
Exactly. Rapid tech changes, globalization, constant innovation. It means static knowledge just gets outdated really quickly.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so with this big change in learning, what about those tangible economic returns? What does the research actually say? How does investing in this kind of education pay off in real terms, like with numbers?
Oh, the returns are definitely significant and pretty well documented, too. For individuals, it's quite clear. Better quality education and, crucially, those higher cognitive skills, they directly link to higher lifetime earnings, lower chances of unemployment, better social mobility, things like that.
Yep.
But then on the national level, the impact, it's even bigger. Our sources point out that just a 10% increase in a country's average years of schooling can boost its long-term GDP growth by something like 3 to 4%. That's substantial.
Wow.
And it's not just correlation. The analysis suggests a pretty clear causal link. It's driven by having a workforce that can actually innovate and adopt new technologies effectively.
And I think I saw a figure, something like 75% of the difference in economic growth between countries is explained by the quality of education and the cognitive skills, not just how many years people sat in the classroom.
That's the one. It's a really powerful finding, isn't it? It shifts the focus entirely. It's not just seat time. It's what you can do with what you learned.
Yeah, absolutely. So given that, what kind of policy shifts should nations be looking at? How do we actually build this new social contract for education and future-proof that human capital?
Right. That's the key question. The research points towards, a few key areas. First, a really serious investment in early childhood education. That seems foundational for developing those core cognitive skills early on.
Makes sense.
Second, kind of redirecting funding and curriculum design towards those 21st century skills we talked about, moving beyond just standardized tests that often measure, rote learning. And third, this is critical, developing flexible, lifelong learning pathways. That means things like better vocational training, maybe for new green jobs, digital upskilling for adults already in the workforce, and stronger partnerships between universities and industry so skills stay relevant. So to really boil it down, the central idea here is that effective modern education isn't just, related to economic success. The analysis is saying it's a primary causal driver. This whole shift towards cultivating adaptable, skilled, innovative people, it's both a reaction to economic changes and something that pushes those changes forward.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. And it really sounds like, as you said, a fundamental redefinition, this new social contract for education. It means seeing education, not just as something you finish when you're young,
Exactly.
but as this lifelong ecosystem,
Yeah.
constantly developing skills, learning, integrated throughout life. And the research says that's absolutely vital for our future economic health.
Couldn't have said it better. It's about continuous development.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit personal for you listening. If our sources are highlighting that the quality of education and the actual cognitive skills it builds, not just years in school, explain maybe 75% of why some economies grow faster than others, then what's our personal responsibility in all this? As learners, as citizens, how do we actively push for and take part in this continuous development of human capital? For ourselves, yes, but also for our communities. How do we unlock that collective potential? Something to think about, right?